Hey, everybody, it's Rebecca Johnson and Morgan Glennon, who's with me here of Supergirl Radio, and we are going to get started here in a second. I just wanted to make sure audio sounded good, picture was good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Okay. I just want to make sure. I always want to make sure that things are coming in as they should. Okay. So microphone's good. Doc received?
Doc received.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's enough to get us started. We're going to be talking about Krypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, 2025, number 3. So we are, I guess, are we at the half point of Krypto's journey? I think we're maybe in the middle.
I think so. I think it's either 5 or 6. So
yeah,
we're on the move through this.
So, Krypto is on a real journey of self-discovery, I think. Really trying to figure himself out.
Learning a lot about himself, about others.
It's very good. So we will talk about it, and I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We don't really have any news as of this moment, so we're going to just talk about the comic book. And so if you want to join us, we're going to be talking about Krypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, number 3.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean,
mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira.
I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because really?
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things related to the character of Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
And for this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired to discuss and review Krypto, the Last Dog of Krypton 2025, number 3, which was written by Ryan North. The artist was Mike Norton. Ian Herring was the colorist. Lucas Gattoni was the letterer. Jay Lee and June Chung did the cover. Nico, this is a tough one. I am going to butcher it for sure. My apologies. Henrichon?
That
how do you think?
Right to me?
Or maybe it's like French. Henrichon?
Henrichon?
Henrichon? My apologies to Nico, who did the variant cover. Sabrina Futch was the editor, and Katie Kubert was the group editor. And since we don't really have any news for this week, we are going to be getting straight into the issue. So the description for this issue reads, Krypto, the last dog of Krypton, has seen some of the worst of what Earth can offer and escaped it with his life. And yet, he still hasn't given up hope. Alone, Krypto wanders through a forest in the depths of winter until one day he encounters a young girl who is also lost. At least they can be lost together. But humans aren't as equipped to survive in the wilderness as dogs are, and there will come a point when this girl can walk no more, and a strange visitor from another world will be her only hope, unquote. So I think that really encapsulates, that's probably one of the better descriptions of an issue that we've had in a long time. That was pretty good.
Arguably, that's the entire issue right there.
Yeah, you've already read it. If you've read the issue,
read the description, you've read the issue.
So on point that it basically spoils the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. Too on point, maybe this one.
Maybe it should have been more misleading, just so that you wouldn't be spoiled.
Throw in a secret that Martian Manhunter has, a dangerous secret that you'll never learn.
Keep some guessing.
Keep some guessing. Keep some on their toes.
Read the issue. So Morgan, since this issue was really about Krypto in the wilderness, and he meets this young girl who we find out later in the issue is named Elizabeth. What did you think about this story and kind of the journey that Krypto goes on with her?
I just feel really bad for Krypto. I think I came into this series being like, I can't wait to see this dog's wacky adventures. And then every issue is a little sadder than the one before, kind of. I guess maybe this one's not as sad as the last issue. So
that one was rough.
I should be happy about that. But I mean, he's still just kind of out in the wilderness in the cold all alone. And then he saves, at one point, I thought the little girl, spoiler alert, I thought the little girl was going to die. And I was like, what's happening here? Like, what am I doing? What are we all doing? What are we all doing here? Thank God that didn't happen in the issue. A spoiler alert. But yeah, there was a period of time where it looked like she wasn't gonna make it, and I was like, we're getting really dark in the Krypto solo book, aren't we? This feels a little unnecessarily dark to me.
And me, on the other hand, I was like, I love this.
Rebecca's like, kill that little girl.
No, I didn't mean it like that, but like I like that Krypto has to go through hard things. I think that really shows who he is.
He's really building character.
Yes. I enjoy it because he was a hero in this one. I think he's been a hero, I think probably in all of them. He saved Lex and some of his family from that fire in the second issue, which I think is really interesting that it seems like Krypto is slowly discovering his superpowers. I don't know if that's how you're reading this.
Yeah,
But like in
that
the
is.
second issue, maybe I don't know if Krypto is like learning this stuff for himself. Like, oh, I'm invulnerable. Like, I don't know if he's having those conversations in his mind. Like, fire is not affecting me. But in this one, he I think flies. Maybe for the first time.
I think he flies for the first time. We see early in the issue when he's walking through the woods and he chases some deer to a stream or like a lake or a river or something. I think it's like a river. And he stops and he drinks some water and then he walks alongside it. And then at the end of the issue, when he's trying to save the little girl, he begins to run. He comes up to that same river and then he jumps and seemingly flies. So I think he's realizing the powers that he has as he like has use for them, like as he needs them, is when he's starting to discover like, oh wait, okay, like I really need to jump over this river. Like I don't have time to figure out my way around this situation. So like I'll just try to jump it. And then as he jumps, I think he just keeps going.
He just takes off.
That solves that.
So I guess he's discovered super speed and also flight.
Yeah,
And
he has.
And I think there's another superpower we haven't talked about, which is the super bark.
Super bark. Yeah, that was a big bark.
So Morgan, what do you think about Krypto's ability to super bark? Do you think that is fitting? That's maybe not so. I mean, I guess Superman and Supergirl maybe could super bark too, I guess. But it seems fitting for Krypto.
Yeah, I like the idea of a super bark because Superman and Supergirl have like super hearing and they have ice breath or like freeze breath. They have heat vision. So I feel like it makes sense that Krypto would have some sort of, maybe kind of his own ice breath. It's big noise.
Oh, actually, I don't know. Can Krypto? I assume he can maybe. I would assume that as a Kryptonian dog, he would also have maybe super breath.
Well,
of
we
some
know he
kind.
has the heat vision. I wonder
Yeah.
if I don't think I've
never seen that either.
Him
I've just
using
seen.
it.
I've seen him use heat vision.
He uses the heat vision pretty often, but I've never seen him do freeze breath. So I guess this is a question. Does Krypto freeze breath? But I do feel like he is due for a mouth-based.
That sounds wrong. We're scratching that from the record. We're scratching the adjective mouth-based.
Mouth-based. You know what I mean?
It's one of his senses, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But also Superman and Supergirl, as a non-canine character, they can also yell very loudly.
That's true.
So and there's also Supergirl, even on in the Arrowverse, she used super clapping, so she can create super sound through clapping. So it's not surprising that Krypto can have a super bark. But I was surprised that his super bark didn't really have an effect, though. You would have thought that like it would alert the paramedics or something. Like,
yeah.
Someone would have been like, "What is that loud, obnoxious bark that I hear?
What was that?" It only seemed to wake up the little girl, which was very important in the scheme of the story. But yeah, it didn't. I thought it was like maybe gonna bring help or something, or I don't know. The tree shook.
If a Krypto super barks in the woods,
and no one hears it. Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I did like that in this story, even though it was difficult. It was a little girl who almost froze to death. And speaking of pets,
that's Beaker. He's bringing his small dinosaur toy over while screaming. Thank you, Beaker. He's dropped it now, and now he's walking over.
What kind of dinosaur is it?
It's like a little blue dinosaur. He's got like little rainbows on him.
Does he have tiny dino arms?
It's not like a
T-Rex.
Not like a T-Rex. It's like one of the plant-eating ones.
Oh yes. Okay. All right. So we'll we'll go with that. I'm still confused now if we no longer call them brontosauruses, but they call them
I think it actually
brachiosauruses?
is. I looked it up. I think it actually is a brontosaurus. I think it's a brontosaurus, unless it has a new name, in which case I don't know what
Am I
it's
so
called now.
old that like we don't call them brontosauruses anymore? I
Like
need
how-
to ask some paleontology people that I
Like
know.
how Pluto used to be a planet for me.
What is happening? So a plant-based
A
dinosaur.
plant-based dinosaur, a brontosaurus shape, if you will. Maybe they're called something different. I don't know. But that's sort of the vibe of the little guy.
That's
He likes
cute.
to carry him around sometimes and scream. Just, it's late at night. The day's been long. It's screaming time.
Well, I'm glad that Beaker has chosen
Beaker,
to share
in
that
his
with us.
own way, has his own super bark, which is his late night screams. And
Well, a super cat would have some sort of mouth-based power.
yes, exactly. I wonder if Streaky has like a super meow that
Oh,
we're
yeah,
like not aware of.
Definitely, there is a
That would be a terrible thing for Beaker to have, because he screams so much. I think it would be very rough for me personally.
You would not want a super cat with a super meow.
I don't want that. No, not at all.
Well, yeah, no, I really liked seeing Krypto have to go through something hard, even though it was this little girl who was cold and seemingly low on food and sustenance. But I really like the way that Krypto, he's by himself at the beginning, kind of trying to find warmth under that tree and in the grassy areas, trying to get his own warmth. And then he encounters this little girl and knows that she needs help. This is the kind of stuff that I like to see out of Krypto versus the James Gunn version of Krypto, where he's a menace and it doesn't showcase how smart dogs are. And I thought this issue of the Last Dog of Krypton, I think this is actually a real good depiction of how good and smart dogs can be. He sensed that she was by herself and that she needed help. He sensed that she needed warmth. He curled up with her to keep her warm. And then when he sort of sensed that something wasn't right with her, he knew he needed to get her to the hospital.
He
So I was
knew.
like, this is a super dog. I appreciated that.
Yeah, I liked that Krypto was the hero in this story, and that he realized that there was like an emergency happening and he had to act fast. Poor Krypto, he's been put in a lot of positions in this book, but this one he got to be the hero of the tale and he got to save that little girl. And I also really liked the little girl. We can tell that she's got a very good heart too, because when she sees Krypto, even though she knows she's lost and she's in trouble and she doesn't have much food, she gives him half of her like last piece of food. And she was like, well, you need this too.
Yeah.
And I think we can see that she's also a very good person. So it makes sense that Krypto would try so hard to save her. And
Yeah.
it's nice too, because up to this point, I feel like Krypto hasn't experienced like a positive view of humanity.
Yeah. Issue 2 was tough for him to deal with humans.
Everybody is really mean to him in issue 2. And as I often sometimes think to myself, wouldn't it be nice to just run off and live in the woods?
You know what? I have thought that too. Like I've thought, what if I became a hermit who lived in the woods?
What if
would my
I
life
Walden
be
Pond
like?
this? What if I just escaped into nature? I don't think about the fact that I can't live without creature comforts. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna be like a scary old lady in the woods or whatever. It's gonna be great for me.
I have literally had this thought, Morgan, because I sometimes just wonder about it.
Sometimes it's just too much. It's
what
just
would it
too
be like?
much. All the other people, all the things. I tell Mike I'm gonna throw my phone into the ocean and I'm gonna go live in the woods. And he's like, sure you are. And I like that I have this in common with Krypto, who actually decided to go do it. He was like, you know what? Forget it. Forget it, people. I'm done. I'm done and I'm in the woods now. And then he got into the woods and he was like, well, it's kind of boring here and it's a little cold. And I think he got tired of the woods about as quickly as I would have. And then he found a nice person, I think, that maybe hopefully is turning Krypto's view of humanity around a little bit. And he gets to save this little girl. So I thought that story was really nice.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done in terms of showcasing the emotion of what these two main characters in this issue were going through and how they sort of used each other to survive the night. And I think this title, this comic book title, is doing such a good job with almost nothing in terms of like dialogue. There's very little dialogue, and they're doing so much in terms of the emotion that comes across, especially with Krypto, as he is just a dog. He's not speaking. He's only barking and super barking, and he is finding a way to communicate with these humans around him. And I just thought the art in this one was so good in the way that it captured the nighttime and the blues and the purples and the greens of those colors, and just putting me in these scenarios with this little girl, Elizabeth, and Krypto, and them trying to survive the winter climate and temperature. So I really, really enjoyed this one so much.
Yeah, I think that the art in this run has been really beautiful, and I think it would need to be, really, because Krypto isn't like the Krypto that we saw last week, actually, as we talked about the Super Pets issue, where we got a view inside of Krypto's head, and Krypto was like, "Candy's my best friend," right? We didn't we didn't get that. We don't get that here. We just get his expressions and what's going on around him, and he's really just a normal dog, except for his superpowers. And I think that the art does a really good job, because if the art wasn't good, you wouldn't really be able to cue into the emotions of it. But the art is really beautiful and the coloring is really beautiful. I feel like my tiny issue with this issue is that I wish that there was a little bit more that happened in it. I feel like I read this issue. My husband and I were talking about something, and he was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna let you read your issue, and then I'll be right back." And then I was like, "Okay, I'm done," and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. There wasn't that much to read. It's a lot of art." And I do wish that there was a little bit more in this issue. I do think that the story was very affecting, but it felt like it went really quick, and it felt like maybe there could have been like one more obstacle that Krypto and the little girl had to overcome or something like that. Because as it felt shorter. This issue felt kind of shorter than it actually is. I was like looking at at my Kindle thing, and it says it's like 27 pages, which I think that includes some of the pages at the end that are like the preview pages or whatever. I guess it's 22 pages. I could have you could have told me it was a lot less, I think, and I would have believed you, just because it feels like you could kind of summarize the story as they did in the synopsis in like 4 sentences, and like you basically got the whole story.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is because there's not a lot of dialogue, so it's a lot of beautiful art panels. And then I think it that makes it go by so much quicker because you're not actually having to read a lot, which for me, I'm like, that's great. The less I have to read and the more I have to interpret from the art, the better it is for me. But just out of curiosity, if you, Morgan, could add something to this story, what would you want to add? Because there's something in here that I think I would want to add. Because the nurse in the hospital, or the doctor, I don't know her position fully, she says something about how Krypto wouldn't leave Elizabeth's side, and they were trying to like get the dog kind of to leave, and he wouldn't, and so they just kind of gave up, and we were like, fine. That would have been something that I would have wanted to see, like Krypto bringing her to the hospital and being like, help her.
Yes, yeah.
So I think would be fun, but I also don't think you need it. But if I was going to add something, I maybe would have wanted a scene like that.
Yeah, I don't think you need it, but I think that would have added something. I also was like, oh, okay, we skipped the portion where he actually got her help, and like would have been kind of fun to see. I don't know if there would have, if it was me, I think I would have probably put like one more obstacle in his course as he was trying to get her to the hospital. Maybe that's like a way that he figures out a different power or something. Maybe he has to use his heat vision for
Or maybe
the first
another
time.
he encounters an animal in the woods that's bigger than him or something.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he has to like scare off a bear or something.
Yeah.
And he has to like use his wits about him to do it. I think just one more obstacle on the course from meeting this little girl and saving her at the end, I think would have made the story feel like a little bit fuller. Instead of just a little bit like point A, point B, point C. But otherwise, I enjoyed this one a lot. I thought that the art in this one, I mean, I say this every single time, but the art in this one, I think, was particularly beautiful. The coloring, especially, the nighttime scenes are so beautiful and blue. And then you see the, daylight begins to start, and it gets a little warmer to like where he's doing his super bark and everything's kind of like yellow and he's doing what looks like super speed or the warmer colors and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I thought that the art in this one was beautiful. I just kind of wish that there was a little more story, which is funny because I kind of feel like I wish the last one was like a little less story. It's like, why does it have to be like this?
Well, there was more talking because Lex really just wanted to tell you everything. That
I was like, I don't need to know about how you're mistreating my boy.
Yeah, I guess after all the comics that we've read in probably the last year or so, where things were so complicated. And like we read through Rebirth, which had a lot going on, and then there were like side quests.
You weren't liking the infected storyline. You didn't find that clear and easy to follow,
with the fingernails being different, and then we would go on a side quest with the death metal stuff, and
oh my
and
god,
that got really complicated with the editor's notes and all that kind of stuff. And so for this to be so simple, I was like, this is so nice. This is so nice. I can just read this and fully understand everything that's happening.
I have no questions about what's going on right now.
For me, it was refreshing. So, but I understand your criticism that it could have had more and it could have felt fuller. But for me, I did enjoy the simplicity and the beautiful nature of this one.
I see Brian in the chat says the man, dog versus nature storyline is a nice change.
That's a good point. Is that it's Krypto helping this young girl, but he's also sort of surviving on his own. What I thought was really cool about this issue and the last issue is that Krypto's pretty smart. He can figure out what he needs to do to survive. Like when he gets in trouble with Lex because he sleeps on Lex's, I forget, jacket, sweater or something.
Yeah, something.
But he's using it for warmth. Here in this issue, at the very beginning, he's using sort of like a grassy area, and he sleeps under a tree, which would have prevented snow falling on him, rain falling on him. So he's a really smart dog to be like, okay, I'm in the woods. What's going to cause me the least amount of dealing with the elements? How do I get out of these elements? So I thought that Krypto was actually very smart in how he dealt with the nature aspect of things. The only thing I think I was kind of thinking about this. So Krypto barks at some deer. And I think you can maybe read it one or two, maybe two ways that either he's scared of the deer and he doesn't know what to do, so he barks at them. Or he's just like really excited to see someone else in the woods.
Hey guys,
he thinks they're friends. So I was kind of curious, Morgan. Do you think which one of those do you think? Why did Krypto bark at the deer?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it is. He does have kind of like a shocked look on his face when he sees the deer and the deer see him. I kind of, part of me thinks it is excitement to see some other animals, to be like, hey guys. And then they run away and he's like, oh, all right, well, guess I'll get a drink of water. Guess I'll hydrate
while I'm here. Might as well get something to drink. Yeah, so I thought that was a cute little moment there in the issue that it looked like he was hoping to maybe interact with some other animals, maybe to stop being alone in all of this.
Make a friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make a friend. Um, let's see. There was another question that Brian had while we were kind of talking about Krypto's superpowers. Brian asked, "Can Krypto do super ventriloquism?" So this is a good question because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people know about the super breath and the heat vision and the super strength and the invulnerability and all that with Kryptonians, but people don't know that Kryptonians have super ventriloquism, that they can throw their voices in a super way.
It's a pretty useful skill.
Comes up all the time.
It comes up a lot. One of his big powers, really, if you think about it, Superman's.
It's one of my favorite Kryptonian superpowers is super ventriloquism. It's a random fun fact. Super ventriloquism is a Kryptonian superpower. I would
use that all the time to get out of awkward conversations. I would just be like, Morgan, I hear somebody calling me. I just gotta go. Actually, oh my god, it's so interesting what you're telling me though. Get me later.
I would assume that Krypto could do super ventriloquism, but he would have to throw his bark. Like he would not be vocalizing words, but he would be able to vocalize in some way. So yeah, Brian, I've never read it in a story, but I assume if we were to write a Krypto the Superdog story and we added super ventriloquism in there, I think it would be valid.
I think it would be a good use of his powers.
Yeah.
I saw another comment in the chat. Mind the Gap says this issue was basically Lassie, and it's true. You know, that's a dog-based classic for a reason.
dog-based classic. I think that is a fair parallel, and I also liked Lassie when I was a kid because I'm so old that Lassie used to run on Nickelodeon. And I would watch Lassie on Nickelodeon.
I think I vaguely remember Lassie being on like the Nick at Night kind of stuff.
Yeah. When I was a young kid, the children of today don't really know what they're missing. But when I was a kid, I was watching old Dennis the Menace.
Oh my God.
I Love Lucy. The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. I was probably 9 years old watching the Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. And Lassie would have been one of those sort of like Mr. Ed, all of those shows. Man, those were some good shows. So I hope the kids today are watching stuff like Lassie. I think they really should.
I feel like they're probably not. But what if we like what if we program like a whole YouTube channel that starts with like just like random slop and then transforms from like a skibbity-dip toilet or whatever it is into Lassie, and then they're like the kids are just watching Lassie, and then like,
we trick them into watching Lassie.
We've saved literacy.
So I enjoy Lassie, so I think that's probably also like or probably why I enjoyed this issue as well. Morgan, is there any? Oh, do we have another question or comment from the chat?
Oh, it looks like Brian said we all wanted to be the main character in My Side of the Mountain a My Side of the Mountain story. So I guess going into the woods is a common goal of all of us.
Well, I think it's because nature is beautiful. And I think everyone, even if you don't go outside a lot, I think people connect with nature. I've heard that like being by water is really good for you, to like be by a stream or a river or see the ocean.
Well, they have the new thing that's called like, it's like nature bathing. It's like a forest bathing, I think it's called, when you like just go out into nature and you just like walk around, and it's like, I think it's been proven that if you're like stressed out or whatever, if you go into nature, it will bring your like stress levels down. I think about this all the time as I sit on my couch and don't go into nature. I'm just like,
go touch some grass, Morgan.
I would be so much happier in nature. I think. I think to myself.
But yeah, I think it's good to be out in nature. It does help with your stress levels. And I think, the idea of just getting away from it all, I think is also
just
another
escaping. Yeah, escaping everyone and everything, like Krypto did. But honestly, I think that the nice thing about this, if we're reading into it,
Let's read into
which,
it.
why not? That's what this podcast does. At the end of the last issue, Krypto runs away. He's like, I'm escaping everyone and everything. And he's in the forest and he's just chilling out by himself. But like, trouble finds him. And it's sort of like, wherever you are, there you are. Like
Wherever you go, there you are.
wherever you go, there you are. Yeah, that is very true. Where you can't like just leave your problems behind because you get a change of pace. And I'm sure if I escaped to the woods one day, I would find some way to make the woods more annoying. I don't like to think that, but I'm sure I would. And Krypto, even though he's in the woods, he finds, an issue, a problem that he needs to solve. So, even when he's trying to escape humanity, humanity finds Krypto.
Well, there is that moment in the issue at the end after he saves Elizabeth and she's in the hospital with her parents. He does sort of, the way I read it, he looks back at the town in the hospital, like considering, like, should I stay here? And then he decides to turn back and go the other way and follow the road to wherever that takes him. So he could have stayed there. He could have made the choice to stay in this little town with Elizabeth. Why didn't he?
I was surprised that he left. That was the big surprise of the issue for me, is that he walks out of the hospital and just keeps walking down the road, because Elizabeth was such a good person to him, really cared about him, gave him some of her food, sort of her precious food, and he saved her life. And I was surprised that he wouldn't stick around to be with Elizabeth. But I guess he was just like, it's time for me to be moving on. This is not my place yet.
So I'm going to make a prediction for the end of this comic book title.
Sure.
I think if this was my story, I would have him in each issue kind of meeting new people and kind of doing his own journey as we have read. But then by issue 6, he's gonna happen upon a farmhouse in Smallville, Kansas, and he's going to encounter the Kents, and he decides, this is where I want to stay. That's how I would end this story. But I don't know. I haven't gotten to issue 6 yet, so I don't know.
That is my guess as well, is that he's going to go on this journey. He's going to meet a wide variety of humanity, some bad like Lex, some good like this little girl Elizabeth, and eventually he's going to bump into Clark and be like, hey, I know him. And he will find his place in this world that he did not ask to be sent to so cruelly by his owners.
They did send him out as an experiment.
Listen, I'm turning on the L's really fast.
They could have sent one of them. They could have. Jor-El could have been like, I'm going to be my own research experiment.
Other dogs, Jor-El? Like, send your own? Uncool.
That does bring up a good point, because I know you have cats, Morgan, and I know you have dog experience. I have some friends who I go to Dragon Con with every year, and they drop their son and their dog off at Granny's house while we go to Dragon Con.
Amazing.
And their dog can, about 20 minutes outside of Granny's house, can sense we're going to Granny's. Like, I don't know how it happens, but this dog, this little dachshund, this dog gets so excited about 20 minutes before we get there. And I think that the dog can sense where we are and that we're close. And so I don't know if it's like a smell or hearing or something. There's something that the dog can sense that is familiar. So I wonder if Krypto, if he encounters Clark, he'll know it's Clark.
Something familiar. From Krypton. Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, because I do feel like animals have like a sense for where home is. I've noticed it with the cats, where if we have to take them to board them or get them groomed or take them to the vet, they will be unhappy on the way there. But then as they get closer to home, they seem like kind of perk up, they stop crying as much. And I'm like, oh, okay, I feels like they kind of know that we're like close to home. And so yeah, I do think that animals have like a sense of, whether it's smell or visuals or whatever sense that they have of like where home is. So I would I think that that's a good thought, that he will kind of sense that that Cal is nearby and know that that is something familiar from home.
So maybe this whole journey is just him finding baby Kal-El again. And
Yeah.
that would just be so perfect. If it doesn't happen at the end of this, I'll be a little disappointed, I'll be honest.
One could say he's homeward bound. That's a specific reference for like people my age.
You could say that. Yeah, so I think that would be a nice way to end this story. But it's not my story. I can't tell one way or the other, but I think I feel like it's leading us in that direction. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about this issue, either in the story or the art?
I would say they left us on a cliffhanger. So
Oh yeah, big cliffhanger. So I think we get a hint about who is maybe coming, but
yeah.
What are your thoughts, Morgan?
It looks like a Brainiac thing.
Looks like a Brainiac, yeah.
That was my thought. I'm very interested. So the ship that crashed is receiving data and it's processing. But what does that mean? I liked that. I mean, for an issue where the story was kind of simple and straightforward, I liked that it left us with like a very ambiguous cliffhanger, like, hey, Brainiac might be coming. What does that mean for our boy Krypto? And it made me really excited for the next issue, because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna. One of the things I have been liking in this series is like, I literally at the end of every issue, I'm just like, I don't know what the next one's gonna be like.
It is refreshing, because we have, I mean, there have been some Krypto stories, but not one in such a complete story arc. I think a lot of times it's like a one-off issue where Krypto's doing something, or like Krypto makes an appearance in something, but this is like a Krypto story. And so it is kind of interesting to be like, what are they going to do with Krypto now? Now, I do have a question though.
Yeah.
If Brainiac crashes, because, Krypto's been like encountering different kinds of people on his journey. Is he gonna be taken in by Brainiac? Is Brainiac gonna adopt a dog for an issue? Like,
oh my god, no.
What is Brainiac gonna take him in?
What if this run is just Krypto being adopted by all of Superman's like biggest villains? Like, I hate this. At the end, Krypto's just like, I hate these guys. I really don't like them.
No wonder Superman doesn't like these guys.
Krypto's just like whispering in Superman's ear at night, like, I hate Lex. I don't know if you know him yet, but you got to take him down.
Yeah, so I don't know if I assume Krypto will probably encounter Brainiac in some fashion. But that is a little bit of a wrinkle, because if you drop Brainiac in, I mean, I feel like that's gonna have to result in something kind of big. So I don't know if we'll see anything for the last couple of issues if Brainiac's going to play a big important role. But that's a pretty big villain to drop here in this story for an issue that was really pretty simple.
Yeah,
dropping Brainiac in there all of a sudden is like, this could get real complicated real fast.
Now, Brian said this could be it could be Brainiac, or it could be his monkey Coco.
This is true. Brainiac did have a monkey Coco that did pal around with him. So if we're gonna go super pets,
could be Coco.
Why not throw in a monkey?
Who knows? Anything could happen in this series, anything at all. The only thing I feel confident in at this point is that it's gonna be bad for Krypto. I just feel like the next issue is gonna come and it's gonna be like Krypto having like a good time and then immediately not having a good time anymore.
Well, I think the next issue, I think the cliffhanger said spring was coming.
Spring, yeah.
So he's been in the winter time. So spring could be good.
It's interesting because when I saw next spring, I went back and I looked at the cover art for issue number 2, and the cover art for issue number 2 has Lex and Krypto while leaves are falling. So
Yeah.
issue number 2 looks like it's autumn, actually. So I wonder if each issue is going to be like a different season of the
Season.
year.
So
As Krypto spends his time on Earth and starts to get acclimated to like life on Earth, he's going through all the seasons.
I like this. So issue 4 is spring. Season 5 issue 5. I would love 5 seasons of this Krypton.
Yeah, sure, I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. But issue 5 I assume is summer.
I would assume so, yeah.
So all the good things I think happen in the summertime, right?
So it's finally going to be Krypto season, I think. Issue 5, the heartbreak is over. It's time to go to the beach.
So hopefully by the summer, things will be looking up for Krypto as he enjoys the sun and probably fun maybe in the water and just being outside and then in nature where things are nice and refreshing and
A little ice cream
good
cone,
for you.
maybe. Somebody drops one. That's all his now.
So hopefully as he progresses through the seasons, I think that's a good point. He will things will be looking up by summertime. So can we confirm? I can't remember how many issues are in this series. Last Dog of Krypto.
Okay, it looks like 5 because I'm seeing the description for number 5, and I'm not going to read it, but it does say in this heartwarming finale.
Okay, so by summertime.
So we're more than
ending.
halfway done with
Yeah.
Krypto.
So summertime is where we're going to end with Krypto. So I like that a lot. Very nice. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up our time here with Krypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, number 3?
I think the art is just so beautiful. I like there's two-page spreads in this issue. One where he's walking through the forest in the winter, and then another where he's flying over the trees, and they're both such beautiful pages. And I just think that the art and is so good at telling me how Krypto is feeling and just through his facial expressions and things like that. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this run. Krypto's not, because he's having like the worst couple months of his life.
You're just giving him some character. He's pushing through some obstacles.
So much character. I feel like they could be nicer to Krypto in these issues is all I'm saying.
What I liked about that sequence of events where he ends up, I think, flying in here is that he doesn't know exactly how to help Elizabeth. He tries to drag her out, but that doesn't seem to work as well. But she ends up hugging him and then sort of attaches herself to his back. And that's why he realizes, oh, I can run with her. This is how I get her help. And so I liked that it felt very natural in the way that sort of progressed into how he could get her on his back and then get her to the hospital where she could then get some treatment for whatever was happening to her. So I think the sequence of that really makes sense as how it happens and gets him to the point where he can super speed and then fly off to get her some relief. So yeah, the art in this is just, I think, really top notch. I even liked the way that the artist was depicting like breathing in cold temperatures, gave it a sense of how cold it was. Like with Krypto and with Elizabeth, you could see their breath in the air. So I thought all of that was a nice touch. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this series. Even if Krypto is being put through the ringer, I'm loving that. So I look forward to seeing what happens in the springtime. Hopefully things start blossoming and blooming, and animals and insects come back in the springtime. So hopefully there's more life in the spring. So I think if that's all you got, Morgan, that's all I've got for this issue. A very short issue, a very easy read. But yeah, I think it was great. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. If you'd like to contact us, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on X and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. If you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. Supergirl Radio is part of the DCTV Podcast and Multiverse of Color Networks, and you can hang out with us as we go live and wired, usually Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, but occasionally we have to do it on a different night, depending on our schedules. We've had to do that a little bit more recently. So thank you to everybody who's kind of been flexible with us, but usually on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on the DCTV Podcast YouTube channel. We also have a TeePublic store. So DCTV Podcast has a TeePublic store. So if you are in need of some DC Comics, DC TV related t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, magnets, tote bags, pins, phone cases, pillows, or stickers, you can go to supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page.
And since this issue was all about Krypto, we have some new Superdog designs in the DC TV Podcast TeePublic store.
Yeah, so we've got some not only Krypto, but a Krypto and Supergirl design
So cute.
in the style of the Krypto from the James Gunn Superman movie, as well as Emily Alcock's Supergirl. So if you're into Krypto stuff, we've got some new stuff in the store if you would like to check that out. And we would like to thank our legion of super sponsors for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon. These people are Michael, Sam, Anne-Marie, Yvonne, Nicola, Abby, Miriam, Nicole, Brian, Ethan, Majuba, Annie, Rachel, and Kit. If you would like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. And I have been a little bit behind in posting some stuff for the Patreon. So I just got our Joker review up, which we did a while back.
Oh, yeah.
But because of my trip to England and things of that nature, I got a little behind in posting some stuff. But I thought our Joker review was great. One of the best reviews I think we've ever done.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember it for sure.
What I liked about it was we sort of, I really enjoyed it. But Morgan's like, nah, this wasn't really for me.
Yeah,
and so,
no.
So I think that was a good balance of looking at all the various interpretations of the movie and the experiences of the movie. And so I think that's sometimes very healthy to have different perspectives on a very divisive movie, I would say. But I think if you enjoy Supergirl Radio reviews, I think that's I think our best review ever was Somewhere in Time, though.
Oh,
I don't think we're ever gonna if you are a Supergirl Radio Patreon supporter, if you're a Legion of Super sponsor, make sure you watch our review of Somewhere in Time. It's the best review I think we've
and then
ever
you'll
done.
understand truly how dangerous a penny can be.
We only watched that movie once, but I think it will never leave us. I think we'll always remember.
It's deep in my heart now. And also we found out that there's like a convention that they do every year.
We have to go
in the bed and breakfast or whatever that they filmed it in.
Mackinac is some big
fancy house. It sounds amazing. Unfortunately, it's very expensive. But that's okay. That's okay. They deserve it. It's a beautiful house.
So we've had some good movie reviews, I think, up on the Supergirl Radio Patreon. And also next week, I'll be releasing the season 2 review of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So if you are interested in trashy TV,
and you should be,
we talked all about season 2, which was rife with drama and power plays.
Season 3 is right around the corner.
When is season 3 coming out?
Season 3, I just looked it up, comes out November 13th.
Wow, that's soon. I'm so excited.
Soon. There's a bounty ahead of us.
So if you have not watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives,
what have you been doing with your life?
And now's your chance to catch up. Watch season 1 and season 2, and then we'll probably review season 3. We might as well.
I mean, we're both going to watch it, so there's no question about that.
So I think people should catch up for our review because you're gonna tune in for our review. So the Patreon's got a lot of fun stuff if you want to check that out as we prepare for spooky season.
Yeah.
To try to, because we talked about watching the at least Scream 3, at least
Scream
that one.
3, yeah.
So we'll be doing some spooky things as we go about the spooky season, but definitely check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. If you want to follow me on the interwebs, you can follow me in a couple places. I'm on the platform Vero True Social at Derby Kid. I'm on Instagram at the Derby Kid, and I'm on YouTube. I have a personal YouTube at youtube.com/DuckMilkProd, where I have some interviews and some movie reviews and critic reviews. If you want to go check those out, so you can check all of that out. I don't have anything new at the moment. But please follow me on those places if you would like to see more of my stuff.
And you can catch me as a co-host on the Legendary Ladies podcast, where we just came back from our very extended summer break, where we talked about The Hunting Wives. So if you have watched that crazy show on Netflix, you should definitely check out our episode about it.
Okay, quick description of The Hunting Wives.
The Hunting Wives.
Pitch it.
It's a murder mystery. It's in Texas. Everybody's shooting. Everybody's a wife.
The Hunting Wives. Okay, I'm there.
Wives. Yeehaw. That kind of stuff.
Okay, I got
it. Really fun, sort of over the top drama show, which funnily enough, I had read the book a couple years ago. So when the show came out, I was like, that's going to be fun. And then the show was like more over dramatic than the book was, which I did not think was going to be possible. So obviously I loved it. I was like, great. I love the commitment to the bit here.
Is it kind of like a soap? Does it have soap opera leads?
It has a very soap opera vibe. Like everybody's sort of over the top. Everything is really dramatic. I think it's very fun. I think it was like 8 episodes or something like that. I would have watched way more episodes of that. I feel like they could have given us a couple more. But apparently it's been renewed for season 2. So that's fun because the first season covers the book entirely and there's no additional books, to my knowledge. So season 2 is just, they're going to just jump right off the rails. And I can't wait to see where they go with it.
Now, could that be bad though?
It could be.
On some shows, I'm not a Game of Thrones reader or watcher, but I heard that like once the show kind of got through the book stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it was bad. Well. It was bad after that. But I think The Hunting Wives, will be different. Everything will be different for The Hunting Wives. Because I just can't imagine. They've done so much in this first season, and I feel like they're going in crazier directions. And the crazier that they make that show, I think the more I'll enjoy it. So I'm excited to see where they go. So if you too watched and enjoyed The Hunting Wives, or you were thinking about it, you should check out our review. And then I believe this week we are going to be talking about, we've got a couple things on the docket for the next couple weeks. We're going to be talking about the Office spinoff, The Paper. We're going to be talking about, we're going to start doing our spooky season. And I think we're beginning with 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Is that a Cloverfield movie?
Cloverfield, it's in the Cloverfield universe, I believe, which is funny because I've seen this movie, but I have actually never seen Cloverfield. So it'll be fun to talk about and be like, did you actually have to see Cloverfield to enjoy this movie? Not really. So we are, if anybody has any spooky season suggestions on things that we should talk about, definitely send them into the legendaryladies@gmail.com. And also check us out at the Legendary Ladies on YouTube and Instagram and all the places that you can find us online.
Have you ever reviewed the Nicole Kidman movie, The Others?
We have not, but I've seen The Others, but I've seen The Others so long ago that I would love to watch it again. Although I do think that like knowing the thing that happens in The Others might, I don't know if that would improve the enjoyment or if it would take away from the enjoyment.
Like having already that twist,
knowing what's coming and be like, but maybe it would make it more interesting to watch and see how they set it up and be like, You clever. Oh my God, you clever so-and-so.
When I was thinking about like spooky stuff, that movie came to mind because at Dragon Con, did I tell you about this?
I don't think so.
If I've already told you, I haven't told the Supergirl Radio listeners, so I guess we'll all be hearing this for the first time. One of the panels that I went to at Dragon Con this year was like the best panel I've ever been to at Dragon Con. It was about post-mortem photography, which was basically
Oh yeah, it's so weird.
it's creepy and it's really hard to look at. It's basically post-mortem
Really is.
photography was back in the Victorian times when people didn't really have the ability to have photographs of their family members like we do today. I mean, we have phones in our pockets that we can take pictures of our family at any time. They didn't. And so when someone died in their family, they would take pictures to remember them. And that would involve pictures of their dead loved ones. And it was such an interesting panel because it talked about the theory behind that and like why, these different ways that they would do it. They would prop them up. It's kind of creepy to talk about.
And it was a lot of times it was, obviously the mortality rate for children at the time was way higher than today. And so a lot of this post-mortem photography, a lot of it was of children.
Yeah.
So you add the creep factor up there too. Cause you're like, oh no.
Devastating stuff where they had this, I can't remember what she called it. There was like a they called it something where they would drape this black veil over a chair or something, and they would put the child on the chair, and then the mom would have to hold the baby from behind the black veil so you couldn't see them. It was devastating, but it was so interesting to hear about like that time and what they were doing, to understand like why did they do that and how did they do that. It was so interesting. And the reason I bring that up is because that sort of plays into the others. There's some of that in the others. And so I don't know if people are looking for some, sort of spooky season things. I always enjoyed the others. I thought it was a really well crafted, executed film. And I haven't watched it in a long time.
Now you've got me wanting to rewatch the others because what I mostly remember from it, besides obviously like, some of the things at the end, is just like how creepy and atmospheric. Like the movie has like a lot of atmosphere. You feel like this dread. It's not like a big like a movie where you go in, there's like a lot of jump scares or anything. It's just like this sort of oppressive atmosphere of like, oh God, what's going on? And I think that they did a really good job with that. It's like a legitimately very creepy movie.
Yeah. So I don't know. Should we do that?
We could also do the other. We could also do the other. Every episode, we're just going to talk about another horror movie we could do.
I don't even like scary movies anymore because I'm aware of my own mortality now. So but I can maybe be up for maybe reviewing the others if you would want to do that. So maybe we could do like a bunch of things. So we'll see. So that's just my recommendation. But yeah. That was the best panel at Dragon Con I'd ever been to because the lady who did it was just so knowledgeable and it was just so interesting. So anyway, creepy stuff, but
that's so cool. That we went on a ghost tour last weekend and they were talking about something that the Victorians did. I think it was like some mausoleum. Oh, it was this like rich lady who like made a mausoleum, and inside was like a some machine that was supposed to like bring you back to life. Like bring people back to life. Like obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously. Maybe she's out there somewhere walking around. I don't know her story. But they were saying that that the Victorians were very into like creepy stuff like that. There was like that there were a lot of obelisks in the cemetery because that the Victorians were going through like a spiritualism phase. They used to sometimes they would have mummy unwrapping parties where they would just get a mummy and unwrap it. Like, leave those things alone. First off, have a little respect. That was an actual person, you guys. The Victorians were wild. I've been on a couple. There's a tour in Cape May, New Jersey, because there are a lot of old Victorian houses there, a lot of Victorian stuff. And they have like a Victorians and oddities tour. And it's all about like the Victorians were crazy. And then they'll just tell you some stuff that they did. And you're like, oh my God. What's wrong with those people?
Yeah, I've been learning a lot about Victorian grief, especially. Like I went to two at DragonCon. I went to two panels about Victorian like death and grieving, and I was like, am I okay? Am I okay?
What does this say about me?
This might say more about me than it does about the people doing the panel. But by the second panel about the Victorian grief, I was like, that lady who did the spirit photography, she was way better. She was this is so bad. It's so much better than this one. This one is not good.
That's so funny.
But it was interesting. That second panel, I will say that the grieving one was kind of interesting because they talked about like what the women would wear. Obviously, a lot of black, but they said that if women couldn't afford like specifically made black clothing, they would paint the dresses and things they already had to be black. They would like dye their current clothing to be black. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So
that is cool.
Yeah, it was a kind of a dark time at DragonCon.
Things at DragonCon. This is why I need to get out to DragonCon, because let me tell you this 100%. You're not finding a panel about postmortem photography at San Diego Comic-Con. They don't have those. And I'm sad that they don't. Like, I like the niche interests that are present at DragonCon. I got to get out there.
Yeah. One of the things that happened at DragonCon one year that made me laugh so much is that my friend Beth leaned over to me one time and she goes, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. But she basically told me that the History of Dwarves panel that she went to was disappointing. And I laughed because the idea that there was a dwarven history panel, that this was something that my Lord of the Rings loving friend went to because that was something she was interested in. She was disappointed that it was kind of boring. I was like, you thought the Dwarven history panel was going to be super exciting.
Rebecca's like, it was no post-mortem photography panel, let me tell you that.
So those are the kind of niche kind of things that you get at DragonCon, where it's like, is anybody interested in looking at these Victorian death photos? Well, this is a panel for you.
Well, guess what? We're here and we're going to show them. I would be in all the weirdest panels there.
There is an alternate history track that has a lot of that. And there's like an X track that has some weird like alien paranormal investigation stuff. I went to a paranormal investigator panel one time and I was like, I don't think I'm going to come to this again.
No.
So there's a lot of very interesting things that you can learn at DragonCon. There's something for everybody at DragonCon.
There truly is.
You should definitely go. But I guess we're going to end on that note. That's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon. And we've received some incoming data, but we can't tell you what it is until Krypto, the Last Dog of Krypton number 4.
Mostly because we don't know what it is.
We don't know.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira.
I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom. Because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!